with Matt Manchester, who was sort of he was the music guy, called Girlie Ready, which we thought was amazing, but in hindsight, I think sounds a bit rapey. And so it didn't work, but I think since Adam's heard some of Insatiable stuff, I think we're going to hook up on some tracks. And I really see it as something I'm going to probably, I think almost definitely move forward with. I'll probably be an international rock and roll star. I think that's a given. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to that.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Cheers. I appreciate the support. Yeah. It's all right. It's a big surprise, but I can share it with you guys. We're going to be called Maroon 6 now.
You're going to be satiated.
Yeah. There's only it's all ongoing. Yeah.
We're going to take some questions from you guys out here in the audience. So let's start with. Do we have a mic for them? Let's start with you in the front.
Now that you're all wonderfully successful, was it easy for you to? You are. Was it easy to go back to that experience of being a struggling artist?
The question was, now that we're all really successful, was it easy to go back to being a struggling artist? Mark Ruffalo, is it easy to go back to being a struggling artist?
It wasn't my favorite place to be, so it's not easy to go back to it. No. Yeah.
Can you tap into those feelings then pretty easily to play these roles?
Yes. Yes.
Mark really committed to the alcoholism aspect of the film. My favourite day shooting this film was I was in a play at the time on Broadway. So I would shoot in the afternoon and then get in a car and whisk across town and do the play, and then quite often go back after the play and shoot quite a lot of the montage stuff. And there was a great time when we were on the subway shooting this like montage thing. We don't really have any lines, we're just sort of doing the music. And Mark said, "Man, you must be exhausted from just doing the play. You must really need a drink." And he was holding this Starbucks cup, and I said, "Yeah, I could really use one." And he just passed me this Starbucks, and it was a vodka tonic, and said to his assistant, "Can we get James a coffee, please?" And I really thought, well, this is the greatest moment of my life. I'm drinking booze with Mark Ruffalo while shooting a film on the subway. It was great.
And then a little anecdote to that, the first AD comes up to me on the film set and says, "By the way, you should know, Mark and James are both drinking alcohol. We think you don't know, but you do know." You're both
Damn her!
She's fired.
Yes.
So can Adam and Keira answer that too? About going back to
Sure. Adam and Keira?
Yeah, I'm an actress, so yeah.
I'm an actress too.
Yeah, you're a lovely actress.
Thank you. This character was kind of in the midst of becoming successful too, so it was kind of a very specific time. When it happened to me, I was probably tempted by some of the same things that he was, and granted my story is very different than his, but it was very easy to tap into what it was like to experience all these things that we never expected to experience. When you commit to being a musician, I don't think you're really sure that you're never gonna be able to pay the bills. I don't think that you care about that as much as you care about playing music. So this guy was just overwhelmed, and so was I. So it was pretty easy, actually. I believe that has something to do with why John called me, is because very few people get to experience those things, and I think he thought I'd be able to articulate it on camera.
Okay.
Thank you. I think I did a good job, but like I said, it was all him telling me what to do the entire time.
Did you say yes right away when John called you?
Yes. I said fuck yes, I believe, actually.
Yes, yeah.
Adam, I wanted to follow up with that. How did you relate to the character? And now that you've gotten a taste of the acting bug, where do you want to take it? Do you want to do more?
I have no idea. All I know is it was really fun. It was a dream experience because I don't think I could have gotten, and this sounds really kiss-assy, but I'm really not. I love these guys, all of them, and they were so nice. I had no scenes with Mark, and the first day I got there just to try clothes on for the film, he was just so welcoming and warm and sweet. So and John and everybody, and Keira made it easy, and it was just one of those things that was, I don't think it can get better than this, so I might not ever make another movie, actually, because there's no way it could surpass this as far as how much fun I had. It was a blast. I really don't know. I hope there's more.
It stops being fun after the first time, doesn't it?
Okay.
And as far as the character, how did you kind of tap into it and relate to it?
I tried to kind of pretend. I wanted to pretend like I wanted to treat this guy like a totally different person, even though it was impossible because I literally don't know how to act. So I was like, okay, some of me's coming out here. It's not fucking impossible for that not to happen. But he was, like I said, there was a very specific point in my life that I've been talking about all day, actually, referring to this character, where I thought, oh my God, you know, I've made it. There were 50 of those moments. I'm so fortunate in my career that there was a time probably in like the early 2000s when I remember someone told me our album went platinum. And I said, what? Are you kidding me? You know, and that was when I partied too hard and did a lot of stupid things, and that was part of who Dave was, was that guy.
Yes, you in the red, and please speak into the mic. Yes, that would be great, thank you.
Please wait for the mic.
So, Mark, you've actually had some experience in doing a film that dealt with a rock and roll element. And John, you've got your experience, but can you guys talk about, and Keira, can you, three of you, talk about what references you had in mind, particularly for your character and your character in terms of, I mean, you're a pastiche of a number of producer, label founders that I could think of, and similarly, I mean, there's people I could think of that, you know, have a stripped down sound like you had in your character, and of course, you know, you had people in mind. Can you talk about the conversation you had? We already know about your reference points. And Adam, I think you know what your reference points are. Yeah.
I think that I had a really good conversation early on in this process with Mark years ago. If you remember, you were shooting somewhere when I was in Ireland, and I couldn't believe that I had gotten your phone number, and I rang you up and we had a discussion about this part and the character. And we ended up talking a lot about 1970s movies and films that we sort of loved, and it's sort of a town of kind of, I think we talked about like Percula, is that the way you pronounce his name? And the French Connection, Gene Hackman, weirdly to try and sort of find this A&R man, or what this sort of vibe might be like with this guy. And a bunch of sort of like late 60s, early 70s films, as in terms of references of sort of, you know, the kind of there is a bit of Peter Falk about this A&R man, I gotta say.
But did you have musical characters you read about or thought about? Can you say similarly?
I didn't, no. I mean, we just sort of,
Records you listened to?
it wasn't based on anything for me. I mean, we just sort of worked on it from a character point of view, of going, this is somebody who doesn't like performing. So that kind of instantly didn't have to have that sort of razzmatazz kind of quality to it. You know, this was somebody who really liked being in the background. So it was sort of more about thinking about that as a character and then kind of just finding what would work from there. So it was very much from a character point of view. It wasn't really based on anybody. But for me, I don't know whether you have somebody inspired.
Well, I did want it to feel a little bit like a throwback, and I like the kind of Star is Born relationship that he has to her. It's like, it's not sexualized or anything like that. It's someone who really sees the talent and wants to develop it. And then I do a fair amount of just daydreaming about these people, and I somehow I came to this idea about of any music person would be Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips.
So fucking funny that you just said that. The second I saw you, you just exuded this guy. I was like, that's Wayne Coyne, and you looked like him, and your hair looked like him, and you felt like him. Wow, I'm so happy you said that.
I really love him. I think he's really gifted and feels like the real deal as far as music goes, and I hope he doesn't take offense to my homage to him, but I'm a big fan of his, and so that was probably the only music person. And then there's like a little weird Dylan pointy boot, Beatle boot thing type jean. The glasses are obviously but that was pretty much it.